Hey guys, welcome to another episode of NZ Pocket Guide live Q&As. Every single week we spend an hour to answer all your questions about New Zealand. And as you can tell, there is something missing right here. Usually right here we have a very pretty English girl that answers all your questions about traveling in New Zealand as well. And she's coming, don't worry, she's just getting ready over there. She's running, she's going to be here. She almost missed the deadline, didn't she?
The deadline?
Yes,
Ooh.
It's 8 o'clock.
Okay.
8 o'clock every Sunday. New Zealand time. You were not right here on this couch.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan your trip to New Zealand, obviously when you are able to. But it covers all sorts of different types of travel in New Zealand, whether you're doing a campervan road trip around the country or you're spending a whole year here doing a working holiday, whether you're a couple doing a honeymoon or family or doing luxury travel or budget travel. We cover all of it on NZPocketGuide.com, so it's probably the best place to go and get your questions answered.
Do you want to catch your breath?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right, guys. So the big news of the day today in New Zealand, obviously, it is International Chocolate Cupcake Day. So obviously, we are going to be talking about chocolate cupcakes.
Obviously.
I'm joking around. So we had national elections yesterday in New Zealand, and yeah, here we go. So we do have a new prime minister in New Zealand, which is the same one that we had before. So here you go. So we will cover that quickly, but obviously we're not political analysts or anything, but just to give you some news from New Zealand, we'll tell you a little bit about that. And also we have 19,970 subscribers on the channel. We are 27 subscribers short of 20,000. Come on, 27 subscribers. This really little amount. So if you guys are not subscribed and you're watching this, come on, hit that button, because if we do reach 20,000 subscribers, which hopefully is going to happen by the end of the week, we will do a massive giveaway. We'll give like a lot of stuff away. It's going to be fun. We'll do a whole kind of live session and we play games together. So that'll be fun. Anyway, as per usual, you can ask your questions in the live chats, and I'm going to get started on reading that. Anthony Comston says Morena from California, USA.
Morena?
If you guys don't know what that means, Morena means good morning in Maori. Do you want to read what Martina says?
Martina says hi from Germany. Hello, Martina. We have Sander De Vries saying hi. How are you guys? We are very well, thank you.
Yeah. Glad to have you, Martina and Sander, for another week. It's awesome to have you guys on board.
And we have another regular, Sherry, saying good morning. And we also have Shirley F. saying greetings from Ireland. Greetings.
And how do you say greeting in Irish? Greetings.
I don't want to try and do a bad accent.
I have no shame.
Yeah.
Nice to have you on board, Shirley.
We also have Kobis saying hi from Pretoria, South Africa. Wow. That's I don't know if we've had anyone from Pretoria before. That's cool. We have Prashu saying hi. And we also have Michael saying good morning. Have my morning coffee made ready for my weekly dose of great information. Something I've become to look forward to each week. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome.
That's nice. We finished our hot drinks actually just before this live session. So here you go. I was like looking at how many subscribers we're having. I was like, did we pass 20,000 yet? I was just looking at it and with my hot drink this morning, and then the camera came up and it was like, oh my gosh, we can get started. And that's why Laura was running.
Yeah.
Cobus says also, did you cut the cake from last week into smaller pieces to make cupcakes? We definitely should have cut the cake into smaller pieces. That would have been smart. But I think it's cheating. If you make cupcakes, you actually start from making cupcake. You don't eat most of the cake, cut the cake in a little smaller and say, oh, it was a cupcake all along. I think that's cheating. I think I'm just saying that for a good reason, to make more cakes.
Yes.
And Jen Tay says, good morning to you. Though at my side on the world it's 3 a.m. Wow. Oh my Lord. Where are you, Jane? For 3 a.m. That's really early. And Sherry asks, what are the top 5 short walks under 2 hours? I'm not a hiker, but I would love to see some great views. All right, let's get started with that. We'll answer that.
Yeah. So one that comes to mind, I think it's right on the 2-hour mark actually, is the Taranaki Falls walk. We do have a video of us doing this walk on this channel. Actually, it's one of the latest sort of videos we've done where we've actually gone out and done some walks. But Taranaki Falls is in the Tongariro National Park. It has really good views of the central North Island volcanoes, like that cone-shaped Mount Nauhoi, and it's really cool to see it in winter because you get to see the mountains under snow. And along the way, about halfway through the walk, you get to see an amazing waterfall. So that's a pretty good one to do.
That's the one we did a video about, when we did the entire walk.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely under 2 hours.
Yeah.
Definitely under. Okay, another one I'm going to be picking is that if you make your way all the way to Stewart Island, there is a small island off the shore of Stewart Island that I feel I've been talking a lot about, but it's called Ulva Island. And you take the boat to get there, and it's literally a 1-minute boat ride. Like, it's the shortest boat ride in the world. And in there, you can do a bit of a walk. There is multiple kind of different little paths that you can take. And I think all of them are under 2 hours because I think they only give you about 2 or 3 hours on the island. And then they come and pick you back up.
No, they do multiple pickups throughout the day, so you can stay.
We only spent about 3 hours or something.
Yeah, I think we spent about 3 hours there, but you can spend all day there. You can just do a short walk around the island and come back like straight away. So yeah, it depends really. It's up to you. Yeah.
So that would be mine. So mine will be Ulva Island for the next one.
Yeah. I have been I've been talking about Takaka recently, writing some new articles for nzpocketguide.com. And one of the cool walks over there is one to Wainui Falls. It's a short walk in the Abel Tasman National Park, which Abel Tasman National Park is more famous for its really long multi-day hike. But if you're looking for a walk that's about an hour and 20 minutes, I think, it's a really cool walk through coastal forest to a magnificent waterfall. And it's got a long swing bridge halfway through. And that's a pretty cool one to do as well.
Okay, so then for the next one, I'm going to pick, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Kaikoura Coastal Walkway is under 2 hours, right? All right, about.
Yeah, I mean, this is a loop walk that I actually think takes maybe about 3 hours to do the whole thing, but most people don't actually do the whole thing.
So that's maybe why I think it's shorter. So it's mine. You talk about your next. All right, so the Kaikoura Walkway, it's obviously in Kaikoura, which is in the South Island. It's the marine wildlife capital of New Zealand. And you have fantastic views of the sea, obviously, but you also have a beautiful mountainous backdrop with the Southern Alps that you can see on a clear day. It's really awesome to have the sea and the mountains, in the same place. There's a couple of historical spots to stop at along the way. And there is a seal colony, which is really awesome. So I always love seeing seals. Actually, the one time we did it with llamas, which was weird. But yeah, we actually had a seal that was literally sleeping in the middle of the walkway. And you literally had to hop off the walkway and walk around that seal because that seal was like, I'm not having it. I ain't moving. So that was kind of really fun to do that. Another one that comes to my mind personally is that you have a few hikes that actually get you to the face of some glaciers, which are quite cool. You can go to the French. You have one to go to the French Joseph and one to go to Fox Glacier, which are actually also really cool walks. Now, Laura, what's your next one?
I was just looking to see how long the Hooker Valley track was, but it's actually 3 hours return, not 2 hours. But I think it's still worth mentioning.
Walk fast and you make it under 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, usually I think this is a walk you can actually do in about 2 hours. But at the same time, you kind of want to, once you get to the end, you kind of want to take in the views anyway. So considering the view taking, it probably takes about 3 hours. But this is a walk in the Mount Cook National Park. It's probably the most popular walk to do there. And again, has a really long swing bridge to go cross over. It's got a very well formed trail there, and it's just a really good one to do to get to see magnificent mountains all around you. You can see various glaciers in the Mount Cook National Park, and yeah, that's just a really good one. It's just epic scenery the whole way. So that's another one that I think you can still class it as a short walk, even though it's 3 hours return.
All right, so I hope that was helpful to you, Sherry, and I hope that was helpful to anyone that watched the replay of this video, because that's definitely a super good subject. So we probably will just get that and put that as a replay. If you have a question of your own, put them in the comments of the video, put them in the live chat if you're currently watching live. If you do find our video useful, a great free way to say thank you for all our hard work is to hit the like button. It just tells YouTube that, you know, we're useful and we're here to help. So, you know, and YouTube always tell me to ask you to subscribe. So subscribe. We are hitting 20,000 subscribers really soon. So, you know, 20,000 people can't be wrong, is it? All right, let's go back to live chat. Prashu Radha says, now that the election results are known, can we expect a positive news for international students regarding the border opening? All right, so let's quickly talk about the election. I'm going to kind of answer your question in multiple parts, Prashu, because I think, you know, you want some context a little bit. All right, so the New Zealand elections for new Prime Minister were last night. The results are as follow. So Labour, which is the current government run by Jacinda, we learned how to say her name. Ardern. Jacinda Ardern. So that's our current Prime Minister. They are going to be staying in power, and their power is actually going to be consolidated. They have 49.1% of the vote. So that means they have a majority of the parliament in New Zealand. So they're basically in power by themselves if they want to. Second, we have National with 26.8%. So Labour is the left side of kind of the ideology. National is the right side of the ideology, and they have 26.8%. Then there is a party called ACT, which have 8%. So ACT will be more far right of the aisle. Then we have the Green with 7.6%. So the Green will be a little bit more far left. Then we have NZ First, which are going to be 2.7%. They are the centrist. And then we have the Maori Party with 1% of the vote. So in short, the government is going to change and become even more Labour, i.e. the policies that are currently implemented are going to become, well, even stronger. So that means for international border, for the international policies of New Zealand, and for the response to COVID-19, it is highly likely that the current course will stay like this, that they are probably not going to allow people to travel to New Zealand if they are from countries that had any community transmissions within the country within the last month. So it is likely that if your country did not get the virus under control for a whole month, that means there's no community transmission, you won't be able to come to New Zealand. They may revise this policy when they see the major economic impact that the lack of tourism and students will have on the country. But so far, we think that that's going to stay as such. So with this information in mind, we are going to be working within next week. Laura and I, we are going to be working on updating all our predictions, and we probably would be posting the video right by the end of the month with a full video explaining all our predictions. But expect us to actually push those predictions a little bit more forward. So yeah, that's what we have. So sadly, Prashu, you're asking if we have some positive news for international students. I don't think we will have any. If they are allowing international students to come to New Zealand, it won't be positive news because you will have to pay for your quarantine, which is going to cost between about $3,100, and that's not even sure at all that they will actually allow that to happen. They may just say no altogether. So here you go. That is our prediction. It's not good news at all, but you know, this is the course that New Zealand has chosen to take. It is great news for the people in New Zealand because that means that we're safe. We can live mask free. There's no outbreak in the country, so that's fantastic for us on an everyday life. But for people wanting to travel in New Zealand, it's not good news. But there is some silver lining. The New Zealand border may reopen shortly with the Cook Islands, and there are some talk even now in motion for opening the border with Australia, but that's not expected to happen until next year. Aditya says, Aditya, I'm going to call you Adi. Adi say, hi guys, I'm planning for master from New Zealand in 2021. At this moment, the borders are closed, and may I know any updates on when it's going to open? Well, the same answer. I literally just explained all that. But seriously, subscribe to the channel. We will put a video, not next week, because next week, not this coming week, because we're working on making this prediction, but the week after. So basically, after the next live session that we're doing, we will post an update with our predictions updated. And we'll do them differently, so it's going to be a bit shorter. I know you guys have been asking for it to be a little bit shorter, so we'll make it shorter and easier to watch and everything like that. Extreme Talota says, Morena, guys. Morena, how are you doing? Are you refereeing today or not? And then Sherry Rushworth says, thank you, guys. That's great. Very welcome. We're always happy to help. Minds Man says, hi, guys. How are you both doing? Pretty awesome. Thank you very much. I got a little bit of a cold. It's spring in New Zealand, so the weather is a little bit changing. So, you kind of think you can run around in a t-shirt, but it's still really cold. So I've been a little silly. It's my own fault. So he or she says, I wanted to know beautiful places where I could bike around in the North Island. Thanks. Do you want to give a couple of ideas?
So there's lots of actually dedicated mountain bike trails, which they're not as crazy as, I know when you say mountain biking, some people imagine like extreme downhill mountain biking, but there's it's more common to say more like off-roading bike trails around New Zealand and also in the North Island. And a really good one to do is the Timber Trail. This is a 2 to 3 day multi-day bike trail.
It's awesome.
We do have us doing this trail as a video on the channel. So if you type in Timber Trail NZ Pocket Guide, you will see us doing the exact trail. But it's a really cool one going through beautiful New Zealand forest that used to be used for timber logging and that sort of thing. So there's sort of remnants of its logging history and also a few railway sort of tracks and stuff there. So it's pretty cool to see a bit of history sort of being, like taken back over by nature as you're mountain biking around. So that's a really cool one to do in the North Island. Do you want to say some or shall I say some more?
Okay,
there's some really cool trails in between the Bay of Plenty and the Eastland region called the Motu Trails. You can ride them as 3 different separate trails, or you can do a huge loop, which would be like a multi-day bike trail over about maybe 2 or 3 days. But a really cool one there is the Dunes Trail, is one of the Motu trails. Also, we have a video of us doing that, but that's a really cool coastal biking trail where you get to cycle alongside the beach on like compact gravel and boardwalks. So obviously it's quite easy to cycle on.
It's not mountain biking on the sand. That's terrible.
Yeah, but also part of the Motu trails, there's a section that goes through forest. There's other sections as well. So you get to see a whole variety of scenery as you're going around.
What about the Waitangi Mountain Park?
Oh, yes. So if you actually are into downhill mountain biking, there's actually loads of mountain bike parks around the North Island. And one really cool one is the Waitangi Mountain Bike Park. Again, we have a video on this channel of us checking that out, or at least I am checking it out. Robin has a broken arm at this point, so he couldn't ride a bike.
So I was in a 4-wheel drive, and I was just driving around, driven around. Someone was driving me around. I was just stopping alongside and filming Laura kind of going downhill.
Yeah,
it's kind of a fun video. Rotorua also has some great mountain biking parks as well.
Yes. So not only does Rotorua have really cool sort of downhill mountain biking trails, but they do have really nice scenic ones, particularly in what's known as the Redwoods forests, or the Whakawera forests. Probably really butchered that pronunciation, but in this forest in Rotorua, there's a ton of different bike trails through the forest, which range from really easy ones to more exciting sort of mountain biking trails. But yeah, around Rotorua, it's kind of really famous for cycling and mountain biking, and you can even do scenic journeys to various natural hot springs. So partway through your bike trail, you can stop off and have a little soak in a place called Kerosene Creek. And yeah, so that should be just a few ones, a few names for you to look up. But we do have
Christchurch of the Moon. Did you talk about Christchurch of the Moon?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Creatures of the Moon.
That's a cool one. That's
another
a really
mountain
cool
bike park. This one is in Taupo, which is in the center of the North Island. But yeah, another mountain bike park with lots of different grades of difficulty to ride around. This is more of a plantation sort of pine forest. But yeah, Lake Taupo again is another really cool place to do scenic bike trails. There's something called the Great Lake Trails, which is various different sections of mountain biking trails around the lake. Which again has amazing scenery and lots of variety between lake views, mountain views, and going through the forest. So yeah, there's that one as well. But we do have information about all these bike trails and much more on nzpocketguide.com. We do have a biking section in the activities category, so you can look up all the different bike trails around the North Island. So yeah, that would be the best place to go check out for more information.
Again, if it's useful, hit like. Laura's encyclopedic knowledge of mountain biking in New Zealand is worth a like. And if you find this video useful and want to see more of our videos, you can also hit subscribe. All right, let's go back to the live chat. MB was correcting me and said that Labour is a centre-left party. I'm not going to go through those political considerations. It's okay. I don't know. I don't know enough about any of that, to be quite fair. So he may be right. Shirley F says, just wondering, do you guys know when immigration start processing EOIs? I would like to join my boyfriend, who's a healthcare worker in New Zealand. He's currently on the essential skills visa. So if you're currently overseas, New Zealand immigration is literally not looking at any applications right now. They are just focusing on application of people which are currently in New Zealand and need to sort out their situation. We believe that until the borders are going to reopen, immigration is not going to process expression of interest from anyone outside of New Zealand, because there is simply no window for you guys to come to New Zealand, because it's just not open. And no matter what, the EOIs take so long. So expression of interest takes so long to be processed. I mean, we're talking months and months and months and months. So they are not working on that at all right now. And I know it's bad news, right? But like the delays that Immigration New Zealand are facing right now are so big, and things are just piling up over there. It's not good news. In short, it's not really good news. So yeah, sorry about that. MB says, I believe that students will be let in after Christmas. Education is an important part of the economy that can't be ignored. So yes, MB, that's something that we talked about. We actually did a video with an update with students, and we actually had the same beliefs. However, we think that it may be pushed a little bit further away from that, just because, of basically, the government had such a strong response to COVID-19, and that resulted in such a strong response from the public and such a major approval. I think that they're going to double down on that, because if that wins them approval, then they want to do it even more. So I feel like they're going to be even more kind of cautious on COVID-19, because, well, it did yield so good results. I mean, I'm not going to go into the politics and everything, but the current government, which are remaining in power after last night's election, won in landslide victory. It's just they got so many votes that they kind of, they're going to want to ride the wave, and the wave is clearly there's very, very, very strong response to COVID-19. So I don't see them changing their plan or their courses in any way, form, or shape. Prashus says, thanks for the reply, hoping for the best. Yes, and honestly, every time I give like a negative prediction, like something like, I'm sorry, Shirley, I don't think, that's going to happen very soon, or I'm sorry, Prashus, I don't know if you're going to be able to come and study in New Zealand. I want to be wrong, right? I just want to make that super clear. I so badly want to be wrong. I want people to come and travel in New Zealand, right? I mean, the way we make money, right? We work for NZPocketGuide.com. It's the largest travel guide to New Zealand. So right now, all the people that read our travel guide are locals. And it's great. We get thousands and thousands and thousands of locals. We have about 10,000 of local coming every single day on the website, and it's fantastic. But that's about a third of what we should be having, so that kind of really hurt us kind of, for our everyday living, right? So we absolutely want to be wrong. And if tomorrow the borders open, we'll be over the moon, right? So just want to make that super clear. But we also see the positive side of the fact that the borders are closed, because we get to live in New Zealand and we're not wearing masks. We get to literally do what we want. We go to see our friends if we want to. If we want to go to the pub, we go to the pub. We go to some gathering of friends, to hang out together. We go on hikes. We literally went on a hike. 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I can't remember. But we go on a hike and you see people and you hang out with people all the time. We went to vote, and there was plenty of people voting over there when we went to vote, and we didn't have to wear masks. So we go to the supermarket, and it's kind of like
So life is pretty normal.
Exactly, yeah. So life is very normal. So we see the positive side of it. It's just we do understand like both sides, because we're literally sitting in between two chairs right here, which is kind of like or making a living and that. So yeah. Again, we want to be wrong. I don't want to. I'm not taking any pleasure in telling you guys I don't think that's happening. And obviously, I want to be as positive as possible, but also I want to be as realistic as possible. When you guys ask me a question about coming to New Zealand or anything like that, I want to tell you something that I truly believe, because I don't want you to make plans that you'll be able to be in New Zealand by February. Because in my core, I genuinely don't believe that's happening. So I don't want you to make that plan. I want you to have a contingency plan so you don't get stuck in February and say, I gave all my money to this education placement agency, and they don't give refund because it's COVID-19, and they say they place me later and I don't know what to do with my life right now. Have a contingency plan. There is no certainty that you'll be able to be here in February. But again, if we talk again in February and you make me eat my word and say I'm right here in New Zealand, I'll be super happy for you. Very much. All right. Morena, Robin, and Laura and Robin says MB. That's awesome. I don't know what this symbol is, Mindman. AE. I don't know what that is. A.
Don't know how to pronounce it.
Extreme Talota is talking about the rugby. And he says that today he's not going to refer any rugby games, but next weekend, it's a 2-day games. There is the Tucana tournament, and next week is the finals for the year and the last games. Ooh. Oh, that's awesome. So you guys are not playing in summer? I feel like right now it's cold and rainy and everything. Why is there no games in summer?
Yeah, I always wondered that. Like, obviously, my family back in the UK were very much into rugby as well, used to drag me along to all sorts of rugby games in winter. And I always just wondered, why not do this when the weather's nicer? I don't get it. Maybe you can explain it to us, Extreme Taluta, because it's a question I've been wanting answered for many, many years.
Okay. Kshitij says, hi, Rob and Laura. How are you? We're doing very well. Good. Thank you very much for asking. It's spring in New Zealand, so there's plenty of birds everywhere. Man, I want to tell you guys, we went for a walk 2 or 3 days ago. I already can't recall.
I think it's about 3 days ago.
Okay, 3 days ago. We went for a walk around the lake and everything. It was fantastic. And there was so many birds. I mean, and so close to us. We literally were surprised. We're walking. We actually got scared because there was some big bird like kereru, which are like wood pigeons, right in front of us. Yeah. There was some tomtits. There was some silver eye. There was some North Island robins. Not me, the North Island robin, the bird. Yeah, it was awesome.
We kept coming across loads of birds, and actually, we were surprised by the birds. The birds were surprised by us, and we were just looking at each other, and they were like, ah!
But like, honestly, some birds were as close as the camera is from us right now, which is quite awesome. Okay, he says, any good news for Indian tourists? You may want to rewind a little bit. I was just covering that. Not many good news, to be quite honest. No good news at all. But stay subscribed. We will be publishing a new video with some updates on that. Not this coming week, because we're going to work on it. It takes quite a while to do all those research and everything. I think, I hope you guys understand that when we do predictions and when we talk about those kind of subjects, we actually do some research, and it takes many hours to just come to just that predictions. I think I did count last time we did the prediction. It took me over 9 hours of research to actually get all those predictions together for you. So just so you guys know, we're not just saying things for the sake of saying things. So video after the next live session. Michael Mariano says, good morning, aloha One and all. Awesome. And a ton of emojis. I love how you always show up with all those emojis. What do we have? We have a dolphin. We have a rooster. Why is the rooster riding the dolphin? Why is there a rooster today?
Isn't a rooster something to do with France?
Maybe, yeah. That's what it is then. And where is this stuff to do with the UK or with New Zealand?
The dolphins.
I choose to believe that Michael Ma, when he chooses emojis, there is always a story, but we just never get it.
Yeah.
It's just beyond us. Okay, Ian Florden Lisa says, your channel are very helpful and informative. Thank you very much,
good.
Ian. Thank you so much for actually first saying that, taking the time to comment. That's really awesome. Like very often, we see how many people are watching our videos, and I think we already have on the channel like over or close to like 2.5 million views, right? That's a lot of people. So there's a ton of people that watch the videos that we do, but they don't say anything and everything. So just like one time someone saying like something nice like that, it's really awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ian. You are the best. 24 people watching, 11 likes on the video. There's 13 of you that haven't clicked like just yet.
Come on, guys, click the like button.
Jagdish Khanna says, when the borders open to travel to New Zealand from Delhi, you may want to rewind the video. Following the elections here in New Zealand, we think that the current government, which is going to remain in power, is going to double down on their policies of only allowing people to come to New Zealand that are coming from countries which have had no community transmission of the COVID-19 virus for at least 30 days. So that means in the entire country, there needs to be no one that passed the virus to one another. If the virus is imported, so that's currently what happens in New Zealand, right? We can go around without masks. There is no transmission of the virus. What happens is that when we have cases, it's people that come from overseas, they are in quarantine. And when they're tested regularly in quarantine, people, they realize they have the virus. And then at that point, they're put in isolation in hospital beds. So that's how New Zealand wants any other countries to do. Once you guys are doing as good as that, then they will allow you to travel to New Zealand. That's basically the current policy right now, and we don't see that changing anytime soon. But if you want to rewind the video, you can definitely do so, and I'll give a little bit more information about that. And if you want to hit subscribe after the next live session we do that every single week. So consider 1 week from now. After that, we will be publishing a video that will be including our prediction for the border openings, and so our take on when we think the borders are going to open for every major countries or even continents and everything. And we will have a section about India as well. I hope that helps you, Jagdish. Sherry says, I love using the website for research. I think I use it at least once a week. Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice. Do you use the little stuff at the bottom that says like very useful or it could be improved, to rate each article to tell Laura if she needs to do some updates? I always wonder if people use these things. I can see like the stats and everything, but I wonder if actually, I guess I could actually just do the add up because when I look at them, I'll just look at them for each articles. So I just see how many votes one article has, but I think I could do a tally. Yeah, I'll do it myself. You don't have to answer. Jagdish says, I have to come to New Zealand for commercial pilot license program. Oh, that's awesome. So there is a pilot school in New Zealand and you're coming to learn piloting in New Zealand. That's awesome.
Nice.
So you don't have a school in India that teach how to fly planes, or is it just cheaper to come to New Zealand, or you just want to experience New Zealand as well? I didn't know that a lot of people were coming to New Zealand to learn how to fly plane. I think that's awesome. Extreme Talota. Okay, we're talking about the rugby in New Zealand. So he says there is no game today. Anyway, it's getting close to the Christmas break, so they do play league during summer. It's January or February 2021 when it starts. Okay, so they do it. It's just different league.
Yeah.
Hey, you go.
Okay.
Clay Bryant is already laughing and he says, Good morning, Clay. How is it doing in Dunedin? Are you enjoying spring? Did you get yourself out of the house a little bit? Did you get the kids out of the house?
How's Lanark Castle looking? How are the gardens? Are they blooming yet?
Cool Prashu says almost all countries have community transmission. India and China contribute major part of the revenue for international market in New Zealand. So let's see. Yes, it is true. And again, at some point, they are going to need to
address the situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
But and again, Prashu, as I mentioned, I want to be wrong, right? I'm just telling you they got elected on telling people we keep you safe. So I think that if they are decided to change their minds, it will take a while, and second, if they do that, they will risk kind of losing votes, and politicians don't usually like losing votes. NB says that New Zealand has no community transmission of COVID, and that is true. That's what's happening now. She Dambara says, I have a PWV, but I am a time flyer. Will this case be added to the exception? Any predictions? No prediction right now. Just wait for the video that we're going to be doing. But yeah, no, I can't give you any predictions right now. Sorry. If I don't have any information, I don't want to kind of give you a prediction, because then it's just lying and just saying something for the sake of saying something. Once I do have some basis to make a prediction, then I will. But right now, I don't have any basis. I like to avoid misinformation here. I hope that you guys not thinking that I'm just being mean to anyone. I just don't like to lie. Sherry says, I always rate each article. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, cool.
Okay, AJ Playlist says, hi guys, both of you look awesome. Hope to meet you guys someday in person. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, with a big heart. I think it's talking more. You're looking more awesome than I do, because I'm just hiding my face with a cap right here. Shirley says, please include border prediction for Ireland. Yes, well, I will. Thank you very much for remembering to tell me that. One of the things that you can be doing, Shirley, if you want to remind me and make sure I remember, what I usually do is I also go through the comment section of the last prediction video that we did. So this time it's going to be prediction video number 3, which was done in September. If you put that in comments, I always look like when people ask, and what about, my country? What about Malaysia? What about India? What about Ireland? So, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot this country. And then that's how I do that. So if you want to do me a double favor, you go on that video and you put that as a comment on your question, and then I remember to do it, because there's a lot to think about. So it's always easier for me to find it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's just to make super sure I don't forget. Sometimes helping my little brain cope with all the information that you guys are asking us, it's always nice. Extreme Talota is happy to have a break from rugby league. Clay Bryant says it's in Dunedin. He's doing much better now that the election is over. He had enough of politics for some time now. The castle is on the agenda again today, funnily enough.
Oh, cool. Let us
nice.
know how it is next week when you pop in.
So are you going to the castle itself, or are you just going to because that's there is two different ways to visit Lionel Castle, right?
Yeah, so there's the cheaper option, which is to just tour around the gardens, and by tour it's more like self-guided tour. You just get to wander around the gardens and have a look at the castle from the outside. But there are other ways to experience Lanark Castle. They do sort of guided tours inside the castle. They also give you access to the ballroom cafe and the gardens, so you can go and have a bite to eat or something, or have high tea. They do high tea in the cafe as well, so you can go and do that and visit the gardens. You can also stay there as accommodation. They have renovated the stables so that you can I always like to say that. It sounds bad, but basically they've renovated the stables so you can stay in some stables if you want to stay there overnight.
Moving on. Anthony Comstock says, why can't they do a quarantine for 2 weeks for tourists if they don't mind doing it? All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of context, but obviously it's just, I'm not a politician and I'm not in charge of any of that, but I'm just going to give you a bit of train of thought. First up, there is capacity issues. Quarantines needs quarantine facilities, and that costs money to set up, to organize, and all that. So first up, there is not that many not that many beds for people to literally sleep in during those 2 weeks for quarantine. So that's the first thing. The second thing is be able to keep people within this quarantine, because what usually happens is that the government is basically taking over some hotels under a specific contract, and they have to kind of guard the doors, because almost every single week there is a story that there is someone in quarantine no expletive, but someone in quarantine that escapes. So they stay in a hotel room.
They do a prison escape out of quarantine.
Like literally, there are some stories of people that tie bed sheets together to climb down and go on a stroll around the city, and then they call back and then bring back. So there is control. Like the more people you get, the more people are going to try to escape. You know, it's hard to control people. There are people that have minds of their own. I'm not saying that you would, Anthony. I believe that you're a nice guy and you would just abide by it and just binge watch some awesome shows. But yeah, that happens. It buggles my mind, I'll be honest with you. Like you can see my face right now. I'm just like completely buggled, but it happens. So that's So first step is capacity, second is control, and the last thing also is just the amount of money that it costs, right? So although New Zealand is requiring quite a lot of people at the moment to pay for this quarantine, and I believe that they are going to be much more stringent in enforcing this more, there is very little amount of people that actually have paid that fee of $3,100 that they're supposed to pay for being in quarantine, and so the budget is just not unlimited, and so that's as simple as that. So it's just easier to do it that way. And so obviously this may change, and if you're willing to do the quarantine, you may be able to come to New Zealand and everything, but for now this is the current policy. But I believe that some people will actually be able to be let in with the quarantine requirements and all that. I don't think that this will last for too much long, but I digress. We will talk about that a little bit later when I do that extra video that I promised. Okay, so Clay says, I've been out in the sun whenever it shows up, which, as you know, in Dunedin is seldom. Yeah, Dunedin is a bit on and off for the weather. Actually, MB said something kind of mean that I want to read about Dunedin. Where did he say that? Oh, yeah, he says, "Lol, if you like cold and awful weather, Dunedin is the place for you, lol." Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Actually, if you watch our video of New Zealand's biggest gap year in Dunedin, I don't think we had many days in the rain. We actually got really lucky.
I'd say
because for Dunedin, it's really lucky.
I'd have to say Wellington maybe rivals Dunedin in bad weather. Well, in terms of how quickly the weather changes, and I feel like you can get rained on in an instant in Wellington, which at least Dunedin, sometimes you get a little bit of, you can see the rain coming and you're like, what's going to happen. In Wellington, all of a sudden, you're just drenched and there's nothing you can do about it.
I think you are going to gather the wrath of MB. He's going to be like, what have you said about Wellington? Okay, so be careful. MB will jump on you, Laura. Okay, so Clay is going to visit just the garden of Lanark Castle and go for a coffee at the cafe. That's nice.
Oh, nice.
Kieran Barge says, when the student visa will open for all. So if you want to rewind the video a little bit, Kieran, we talked about it for quite a while, but I will post an update in about 1 week from now, and I'll go over all that, but not until next year, maybe even mid next year. We'll see what I gather as information. And again, I want to be wrong, so hopefully tomorrow. But I don't think that's happening. Aidan Rose says, I'm Canadian, so it can't be that cold. No, it's not. It's not. Listen, it's not really Canada weather-wise. It is Canada, but it's not really Canada weather-wise. But I lived in Vancouver for about a year, right? And honestly, the weather in Vancouver and the weather in the south end of New Zealand is about exactly the same. My take. But yeah, that's about it. In cities, obviously, if you go in the mountains and everything, it's like going to Whistler. So here you go. I don't know if you can relate to that, Aidan, if you've been around Vancouver or not, but that's kind of my take on that weather. But we do have a full video where we go through all the temperatures and everything. Check that out. We even have a whole playlist on the channel where we do every single month, and region by region, and give you all the different kind of temperature average everywhere. So I think that will kind of help. But any other places in Canada, any other place, even Quebec, which I spent some time there, even Montreal, way colder than it is in New Zealand. So, and if you go to some other crazy regions, like, that's some of your big plains or Saskatchewan and everything, you guys go like minus, I don't know how much. And so don't worry, you are definitely prepared for the weather in New Zealand, because the good thing with New Zealand, we're on an island, right? So we're always really close to the sea, and since the sea warms up temperature quite well, it's only when you go to the actual southern Alps, like literally in the ski field, that you have snow, and you don't have that much snow elsewhere.
Yeah.
I didn't know the mic was in live. Lol, I don't know what Extreme Talota says.
Again, when we reach 45 minutes into our live session where everything starts to slow down, we start to freeze, and
yeah, just reload the page, tell us when it's ready, and I'll keep on reading the comments.
Yeah, let us know when you can hear us again, or if you can hear it. It's back. Is it back? Sherry says it's back.
So it looks like it's at the 45-minute mark every single Sunday. I don't know why. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anthony said he would pay.
Yeah, he would pay for the quarantine fee. Sherry says, speaking of Haiti, what are your recommendations? I think Zealand and Tongariro, isn't it?
Well, we have videos on 2 Haiti experiences on this channel. So if you go to the Chateau Tongariro, which is a big sort of prominent hotel at the bottom of Mount Ruapehu in the Tongariro National Park, they do quite a splendid high tea, which again, yeah, we have a video on, so you can check it out. And also Zealand, which is just outside of Hamilton. This is actually on the grounds of New Zealand's only tea plantation. So of course they do high tea there, and that's another really good place to experience high tea.
That's a very, very early video for us, so it's very cringy for us to rewatch that.
So we do have a video on that. It's not a very good video, but it's a video nonetheless.
Yes.
And other places you can go around New Zealand. There is some high tea experiences around Hawke's Bay. There's a few sort of luxury lodges. The names escape me right now, but we do have information on NZ Pocket Guide about them. But yeah, in Hawke's Bay and around Napier, there are some high tea experiences in some of the historical homesteads. And that's the thing about New Zealand. Usually when there's a luxury lodge or a historical homestead, they usually do high tea to go with it because it just sort of fits with the environment. For instance, there's a place in
That's okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm just there.
Am I boring you with my high tea nonsense?
I was just about to move on to another question. I thought you were finished.
Keep going. Yeah, in Nelson.
We're coming to you, Barry, when Laura is finished blabbering about tea.
In Nelson, there is also like a historical sort of building that is also a cafe that does high tea as well. Again, I can't remember the name of that place, but we do have...
That's great information right here.
I know. We have information on it on NZ Pocket Guide in our Nelson. I think I usually put them in the luxury guides to each location since people sort of do it as a luxury thing. And then finally, yes, you can do high tea at Lanark Castle, which is in Dunedin.
Here you go. All right, Barry Holden had a question. He says, with slower speed and added routines of using a campervan, would you say it's worthwhile for 1 month traveling both islands, or would you suggest renting a car and using hostels? Laura, 1 month, what do you think?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. How?
Wow. So campervan or a car rental and hostel for 1 month around both islands?
What? Which one is easier? Or
which one would you suggest?
I think,
she's lost.
Okay, I know what I would say. I would say that, but it depends really what sort of experience you want. I find personally cars are easier to drive than camper vans in terms of, also for parking. There's a few gravel roads and a few narrow sort of winding roads in New Zealand. So I usually find that if it was my choice, I would prefer to do a car and then staying in hostels or other types of accommodations that are affordable around the country. There's hostels, Airbnbs. There's some motels that are pretty affordable as well, and holiday parks and campsites. So I would find that a sort of easier way to go around for just a month, and also it would work out to be probably around the same price as hiring a camper van. All
right. So my opinion, though, is that if you do have the budget, you should take a camper van. So it will cost you more money than doing the car rental plus hostel combo. But if you are in 1 month around New Zealand, you get yourself a nice RV, not like those tiny camper vans, because that's going to be too cramped and moist and everything. Not gonna, it's going to smell musty and everything. But if you get a larger RV, you do that, you stay in holiday parks, and so you don't have to dilly-dally about with all your bags and everything like that. You actually have the comfort, because for an entire month in New Zealand, you may want to have like a little bit less kind of moving your bags all the time and
Yeah.
kind of having to pack and repack and unpack and everything all the time. That will save you a lot of time and just kind of hassle. So I think that if you can do a bigger RV, you will have a kind of almost a proper bed in there, which is quite comfortable. You'll be able to get to most places around New Zealand. You can stay in holiday parks, so you can have like larger and nicer showers. So it will cost you about the same. Like staying in a holiday park and having the RV would cost you the same than the hostel. You will spend a little bit extra money on gas and ferry transport and everything. So overall, doing it with a campervan will cost you more money, but we'll still do it because 1 month, 30 days of having to check in and check out of a hostel. And oh no, I wouldn't. Now that said, the hostel in New Zealand are really good. I mean, you saw New Zealand's biggest gap here. I'm just piggybacking to your next question that says he noticed that on our 365-day challenge, we stayed in several hostels. Was it for comfort or convenience? So we stayed mostly in hostels, right? We actually stayed in throughout our trip around New Zealand, all our travels and everything around New Zealand so far, running all our travel guide and everything. I think we stayed in close to 400 different hostels. So hostels in New Zealand, first up, comfort's quite good. Second, when we did New Zealand's biggest gap year, we had different constraints, right? We were filming, we need to do the editing, we had a lot of like power constraint and everything. There is no campervan in the world, even with that many solar panels, that could help us charge all the stuff that we needed to charge and all the everything that we needed to do. So we stayed in a lot of hostel because it was it was better for our own comfort in that sense of like we were able to do that much. Literally, the campervan was more of a editing and recording studios and all that. And there was, to be fair, we barely used the bed because we had all the cameras and everything. All the gears were like stored over there. We had the overhanging bed, and that's where we had storage for all the stuff. So we had very different circumstances than what you would have if we were just ourselves. We will probably just stay in the camper because it would be a bit more convenient, because I can tell you carrying all those things around was quite a lot. But we still wouldn't have carried things as much as you would in 30 days around New Zealand, because we had 365 days all around. We stayed almost 1 week everywhere we were going. So we were going into a hostel. We were moving things for an entire week and setting up the room how we wanted it and everything, and moving back and forth to the campervan to record stuff and everything. So we were not going every single day checking in and checking out. So that's why, in my opinion, you should do the campervan stuff if you do have the spare cash for it.
But you will notice that actually halfway through New Zealand's biggest gap year, I don't know how far you've got through the videos, we end up having some issues with our campervan, and we do need to replace our campervan because it basically breaks down. So we end up actually getting quite a large sort of a car, but a large car, so that we could fit all our stuff in. And we had the option, in case we didn't get accommodation, we would have the option to sleep in it if we were to find like an appropriate campsite or something. So we have done both during that.
We've done both. And to be fair, we quickly realized that the cameraman, it was big, it was a convenience recording studio, but we just had to move a few boxes and start recording in the hostel. Anyway, we're digressing. Digressing, sorry.
And disgracing, probably.
Oh, Kieran says, thanks for the update, buddy. You're very welcome, Kieran. Aidan says, I'm from Saskatchewan and you get minus 40 in the winter. I think you'll be all right with the New Zealand weather if you can withstand minus 40 degrees in winter. He said, MB says you can't beat Wellington on a good day. Everybody told us that it was freezing, and then it wasn't freezing anymore. So thank you very much for letting us know when the when the stream is frozen. I just completely blanked. Aidan says, I am planning on going to New Zealand for one year. What would be a good amount to save it before I go? So it depends. If you come to New Zealand on a working holiday visa and you're planning on doing a little bit of work, then you just want a bit of a buffer in order to get yourself set up. Travel, work. So what we actually usually recommend as a minimum amount of money will be, and I'm going to talk only in New Zealand dollars. I hope that's okay with you, Aidan, and then you can convert them to your currency if you want. The absolutely bare minimum will be 5,500 New Zealand dollars plus your return flight and all the stuff you need to have, like your travel insurance and everything. So if you have all the flights plus all the insurances and everything that you need, and you have a spare 5,500 New Zealand dollars. That's the bare minimum you need for a working holiday visa in New Zealand. Now, obviously, if you want to be a little bit more comfortable, 8,000 is a good amount because that will allow you to start traveling quite a fair bit around New Zealand and find a place that you really love and then work in there in order to save up some money and keep going. Because a lot of people, they just end up arriving in New Zealand with nothing and stuck in Auckland and trying to work there. And in Auckland, the cost of life in Auckland is really expensive, and the wages are just, usually as a seasonal worker, you get minimum wage. So you won't be able to save that much when working in Auckland. So you won't be able to start and travel a little bit. So 8,000 New Zealand dollars will be a really good amount to get started with. Now, if you're planning to travel in New Zealand for an entire year and not work whatsoever, then you need a whole lot more money. And I think that at that point, you want to consider how much you would spend in a month and do a monthly stuff. And I will say that about 3,000 to 4,000 New Zealand dollars a month will be what you may want to have. Sorry, completely wrong. 2,000 to 3,000 New Zealand dollars a month will be what you may want to pay for. And that's staying in the hostels around New Zealand. If you want to stay in more, luxurious accommodation with more privacy and everything, then that's a $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Obviously, those numbers are very kind of vague. I don't have enough context on what you want to do and what kind of activities and all those kind of things. Remember, there's a lot of free activity to do in New Zealand, but there's also a lot of $400 activities to do in New Zealand. So there's a lot of things in between. But I hope that give you kind of a rough idea, at least, Aidan. Okay. Michael Connell says, Lanark Castle had a fantastic cafe. We enjoyed our afternoon tea and when we visited there, and their homemade shortbread is the best.
Nice.
Homemade shortbread, nice.
So there's a recommendation for you, Sherry, since he's saying the afternoon tea was good, and I don't know if that's the same thing as high tea, because I know that some people,
about the same thing.
Some people call high tea afternoon tea. So yeah, cool. Another place to recommend. And
Nabiha Hamed says, good morning. Good morning, Nabiha. Thank you for popping in for this live session. And Clay said it broke down in Kaikoura. No, what? You mean the car? So our campervan broke down on the way to Akaroa. So that's from Christchurch to the Banks Peninsula in Akaroa. And it broke down just right on that forsaken road that will forever be remembered as where Robin and Laura's campervan broke down and was dead forever and ever after that. And he says, I remember it because it was about when you guys channeled your inner David Attenborough. What?
Did we?
Did we? I can't remember that. What did we do?
Sounds like something we would do.
Is it when we went to see all those...
I suppose we would have seen a lot of wildlife in that area.
In the Banks Peninsula. Yeah, maybe. I can't remember.
Oh, in Kaikoura as well. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Laura actually does a lot of impression of David Attenborough. Almost every time we see a bird, she just starts speaking with that voice, and it's just so disturbing. But she just
it's meant to be relaxing. It's meant to make you feel, relaxed and happy about what you're seeing, not disturbing. I don't want you to feel disturbed while looking at a bird.
All right, guys. So.
20 people, 20 likes.
Oh, I like when it's nice.
That is a well-balanced live
Let me just see how many subscribers we have on the channel. We lost 2 subscribers since the beginning of this video. What? Okay, we now need 29 subscribers to go to 20,000. Who left? Who watched this video and was saying, you know what? You guys are so terrible, I'm going to unsubscribe. There's 2 of you that did that. Well, listen, I'm sorry to hear that 2 of you decided to unsubscribe. I wish we will regain you trust one day. Maybe it's because we gave you some bad news about when the border opened. I'm sorry. I hope that won't happen again. Anyway, 29 people to hit to subscribe the channel, and that's 20,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to share the channel on your Facebook or YouTube or anything, that'd be fantastic. And if you guys are not subscribed, just hit that button. That'd be awesome. Come on, we could reach 20,000 subscribers, like let's say in the next 2 days. That'd be awesome. Sherry Rushworth asked you an example of David Attenborough. Come on, Laura.
Well, all you need to do is, because I realized from Clay, actually, he is saying which video it is that I do a David Attenborough impression. It's actually when we go to do the rhino walk in Akaroa.
Yes, that's what it is. Oh, that is too funny.
Yeah, because I do a commentary of the giraffe in the wild, because there are some giraffes and rhinos in this walk. So yeah, if you go onto a video, I think it would be called Rhino Walk, NZ Pocket Guide. You should find me doing an impression of David Attenborough there. So yeah, don't know if it's good because I can't remember, but yeah.
Gillian asks you, Laura, what time of the year is good to drive in the Catlins?
Any time of the year. I think I seem to remember that November is a good time to go because that's a bit more when there's more penguin activity going on. So if you want to go to Curio Bay, which is an essential stop in the Catlins, and if you go sort of in the early morning or late afternoon, that's usually when you get to see yellow-eyed penguins walking back and forth across Curio Bay, going back and forth to their nests and feeding their chicks.
Stay far away from them, please. There is not enough fences and everything over there. Just remember they are wildlife and you disturb them if you go too close. So stay very far away from them. So
yes,
make sure that you give them a good 10 meters, and 10 meters is very long. It's at least the length of 5 cars parked nose to back to nose to back.
Yeah,
please, for the penguins. Do it for the penguins.
So that's a time of the year. Yeah, I'd say around November is a really good time. But honestly, any time of the year is good. There's always amazing sights to see. There's waterfalls, caves, amazing beaches. Sea lions are there just sort of lazing on the beach all the time. And again, don't get too close to those guys. And they can be pretty scary if you get too close. So don't do it.
And I think during New Zealand's biggest gap year, when did we visit that? I think we did visit in around September, wasn't it? Because then we did.
When's the US elections usually? Around this time?
September, November. Because we did Christmas in Christchurch, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like a couple of months before that, we were in Catlins.
Yeah.
Because it took us quite a while because we stopped in Dunedin for a while and everything. So I think so if you watched our video of us doing the, visiting the Catlins, which you have at least 4 or 5 videos of that on the channel, we did visit around the end of September, beginning of October, I think, if I'm remembering properly. And we had a phenomenal time. We saw massive sea lions and everything. And that was a great time of the year to visit the Catlins as well.
Cool.
Okay, Barry Holden says, thanks, I appreciate the positive responses to repeat questions. Yeah, we do know that, we do get the same questions over and over and over again, but, we also do know that you guys may not want to watch 20 different videos to try to, get our answer here. That's why I do a lot of the snippets videos, and I cut them and I repost them. So if you want to go on the channel, there is like a place with like travel tips. If you want a ton of travel tips in there, man, you're going to be sorted. He says, was to celebrate our 25th anniversary in a week. Oh, congratulations! 25-year anniversary. Wow, that's really cool. What's the anniversary? It's like, there is always like a diamond or gold. What's 25? Is it gold? Is it silver? What is it? That's awesome. It says it's on pause right now, but looking forward to resuming our plans. Great information and support. We're very happy to help you, Barry. Did you check out nzpocketguide.com? So that's our written version of our travel guide to New Zealand. It's all free to use, and you may find also a ton of information there. There is a link to that in the description of this video, and it's the largest travel guide to New Zealand ever written, and it's written by the both of us, so you may want to check that out. But tell us what anniversary is 25 years, because that's what we care about. You can check the website when the video is finished. But yeah, definitely if you're planning like itineraries and everything, what we actually have done on the website that we do like full itineraries, like prepared for you, and we actually are about to prepare even some more. So they're kind of like all ready, and you have all your day-to-day and all the suggested activities and accommodation and everything. And they're all kind of free to just print and enjoy. So yeah. Extreme Talota says, well, you guys have a good day. See you in 2 weeks. I can't believe we're going to be doing a whole live session and you won't be here. And that may even be the 20,000 celebratory live session.
Yeah.
Can't believe that's happening. It's so sad, but we will see you in 2 weeks. Anthony Comstock says, stay safe and have a nice week. And there's 20,000 emojis right here. And he says, but I'm staying until... That's a good way to get your question answered, by the way, guys. Sometimes I miss some comments. I'm trying to read everything, as you know, and we don't have that many people ever watching. If we ever have like 25 people, we're like, woo, that's a lot of people. But if you put a lot of emojis, it catch my eyes. I'm like, oh, yeah, I can see that comment. And Gillian Hines says, thank you. We are thinking about visiting the Catlins in September. Yeah, September is the time we went to. So we went to around the end of September, beginning of November.
Yeah.
When we went to last time. So here you go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for all joining and watching this live session. I hope that we answered a ton of questions. I feel like we actually went through quite a lot of questions, both about the border opening, but as well a lot of questions about traveling in New Zealand. I think that you guys are keep on like planning your itineraries, and I love that. The fact that we all have this so much time on our hands. It allows us to have enough time to plan our trips and make the most out of your trip to New Zealand. So I find that super awesome. Wait. With breaking news, guys. 25 years anniversary is indeed silver.
Oh.
Laura was right.
I think I said diamond.
You said that.
Never mind.
All right. So it was celebrating by flying and touring in New Zealand. Been using your site for about 1.5 years. Wow. Barry, 1.5 years.
You must be very well prepared.
Yeah.
You must probably know more about New Zealand than we do at this point.
You rock. Michael Connell say, have a great week. Looking forward to you next Sunday live chat. Thanks, guys. See you next week again, guys. Last plea, share the YouTube channel so we get to 20,000 subscribers. We really want to get that started. We've shot some videos for it. We've got some prizes to send you guys. We really want to send you those prizes now. So help us reach these 20,000 subscribers. That'd be awesome. So say on Facebook to people, if you're ever planning a trip to New Zealand, check out those guys. Anyway, in the meantime, what else are we saying at the end? Oh yeah. If you want to know when we're back, it's next week at the same time. There's a link in the description below. And what else do we usually say at the end? You guys are awesome. Stay safe.
If you want your questions answered throughout the week, put them in the comment section of any of our YouTube videos. Yeah. We will pull them together. This is a better looking side. We'll pull them together and we will go through those questions during next week's live session as well.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week and stay safe.